So, Amit, what do you think is the world's biggest challenge right now?
I think that it is people not acknowledging their role in the course of the universe. I think it is people not recognizing their power, not fully owning their potential for contribution. It is part of my mission to have them own that mission, honor that mission, and live true to themselves. I believe that when we live true to ourselves, we are the greatest leaders. It
So, go ahead.
is, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It is with good reason that in my personal mission, I include find and follow their true calling so that they may lead the world.
Right. I have that in front of me. That's what I was just looking at, your personal mission. So would you say that you are committed to creating leaders in the world?
Absolutely. I believe that by helping people to live true, they will naturally lead, not just others, but importantly, their own lives. I understand that is a different way of stating it, but sometimes I think it is easier to lead others by following well-described prescriptions by leadership experts than it is to lead ourselves.
Very true.
Leading ourselves is the real mastery.
Very true. So, Kumar, you are a pediatrician. I'm assuming you were a pediatrician before Amit was born because of how long training takes. What has it been like for you to be on this journey with Amit and to support him on the level that you have over the years and be a doctor? I mean, how's that been for you and your wife?
So the journey with Amit started before Amit, in that Pratima and I wanted a child so desperately. It was the biggest void that we had, and we had significant troubles with getting pregnant. And during that time, I remember lying to people who would ask me if I had kids. And I'd say, yes, I did. And I'd even make up ages for the kids because I felt that they wouldn't believe me and believe the advice that I was giving if...
Oh, as a pediatrician.
As a pediatrician, if I didn't say that. And I remember doing that.
It's like a relationships coach, not having a relationship or something. I get it.
And you know, over time, I've realized that I was always a daddy, because I was a daddy back in school. I mean, I remember parenting my, other kids in class. Like, I remember being a daddy to my friends. I remember being a daddy to those patients and to staff who worked with us. I've always been a daddy, but it transformed when Amit came. And during the pregnancy, we knew that Amit had MS. We did not know if he would survive. Honestly.
And it was a mass on his kidney?
In his kidney, yeah. And so we did not know if he would survive, and that was scary. And then he was born, and I knew when he was born that he had neurologic problems. It was obvious to me, but I couldn't get anyone else to believe me initially that was a problem. And he was going to have surgery because his blood pressure was so high. He was needing surgery at 4 days old to have this mass removed, and we didn't know it was just a kidney. There was thought that it might be cancer, and Pratima and I did not want him to go to the surgery because they told us there was a 25% chance of mortality from the surgery. We did not want him to go to surgery and to die potentially unnamed. So she and I liked Amit as a name for a long time, and that, it turns out, means infinite, limitless.
So did you know that when you named him Amit?
Yeah, we just liked that name, and it turns out that's what that name means in Sanskrit. And in our culture, a name is based on the time of birth, and you are supposed to go find a name that matches based on the time of birth. And so we stayed up the night before his surgery, and then we saw this name, Chintan, and means thinking. And as soon as we saw it, that somehow we knew that was the right name for Amit. Mm-hmm. So we put together Amit Chintan Ramlall. We went and we told him on his fourth day that was, the name that we had given to him. And then he went to surgery. And, Amit had challenges post-operatively and had challenges. He was not fully anesthetized during the surgery, and so he was partially awake. And so that has served him too, and he's written about that.
Yes, I read in your chapter 16 about.
So over time, it has allowed me to change my understanding of being a healer, because healing is very important to me, and it has changed my understanding of being a healer. And my emphasis on maximizing function, if you translate that, it's maximizing contribution. I realized that really what I've been doing is serving the mission of the Chintan Project for all of my life, but by different labels. Mm-hmm. Because I remember throughout my medical career, I've never been acknowledged as somebody who was a great diagnostician. In fact, what I did was, whatever your label, come on in and I'd help you do the most you possibly can with that thing.
You mean whatever you were labeled?
Whatever your label was. And so that's what I did. And when I moved from one university to the other university, I was recruited. That was one of the main things I was recruited to do, to take kids with complex problems and help them get functionally better. And that is actually what we're doing with Amit right now, right? Take whatever his label, whatever the package, and help you to improve function, which translated is help you to make your biggest contribution. So in some ways, I feel that we have been serving this cause all along, and I've been decreasing my amount of time in medical practice, partly because doing the work of Chintan Project, living that mission is taking up the time.
Well, my experience when I'm around you is the two of you are so connected. You know, it seems like if there's such a thing as one thought, it seems like it's just an amazing relationship, father, son, and then partnership and, you know, the maturity of the wisdom, right? So what is that like from the thought perspective and what you're bringing into the world to be so linked to your son and then to this wise being, Amit?
Well, I tell you one lesson that it does allow is being present. Because they oftentimes, especially when Amit is using the FC, Facilitated Communication Board, what you witness is me being present with his thought, right?
Right. Because you can't be thinking
one thought. So I'm just. Sometimes if I sound like a monotone while he's typing, it's actually because I'm not editing that writing. I'm transmitting that information to you. So the one thought is just me saying out verbally what I'm reading. Because I'd give you an example. This morning we did I thought I was doing a 2-hour consultation with someone, and Amit actually ran that consultation, and I didn't contribute, and I didn't know where he was going with it.
And is this the business consult? This is business consulting.
This is a consultation for a leading business owner.
Okay.
And so Amit ran that consultation, and I could not tell you where he was going, and what his plan was for that consultation. So I'm not aware of his thought in that sense. But
right.
When I'm at the board, I am very present, and I have learned presence as a result.
I mean, could you say you're almost not there in a way? I mean, I know you're there, but you're almost like over there with him so much.
In some ways, I'm not there because I'm working very hard to not edit what it is that he's saying.
Right.
And in some ways, I'm more there than I am with most everything else because I'm so present.
Right.
Right. So there is that balance that's going on in that exact same moment with that exact same activity. I'm both not there and so much there.
Yes.
And that presence I've been able to take to my clinical work because I can become present with someone sort of instantaneously because I've now been trained.
Right. It's someone that I study with talks about the power of listening. The power of listening. The listening is, we walk around thinking it's what we say, but it's really the listening that we provide in the space that has this amazing possibility show up. So that's my experience with the two of you.
The idea of being present in an interaction does not even need someone to be physically present. I have trained myself to be present when I read. And by that, I mean I can be present with the author. I read for meaning more than for words.
Can you say a little more about that?
Absolutely. When I read, I am searching for the heart of the author. I am seeking to understand what it is they want me to get. What is their true message, their true will as they right.
So it's almost like their purpose, right? The way you're expressing that, finding their, discovering their purpose.
What are they after by writing this? And I get present thereby with them. I don't mean in a channeling sense.
Right.
I mean, I get them in the parlance of everyday talk. I work very hard to get them, as I do with everyone I meet.
So, who is your favorite author so far? I know it's kind of a silly question given how many books you've read, but who is your favorite author or your favorite thinker so far?
One of the most influential people whom I have studied with is Dr. John DeMartini. But I take it as one of my major tasks to test his IJs as I test the IJs of all others to ensure that they fit or don't fit with my models. My model has evolved over time, but I read with an openness and with a skepticism at the same time.
So what do you see for Amit Kumar as his father? He's got 100 years left on the planet. What's your vision as a parent? We all have them. We can't help it.
Can I tell you a little story about it?
Please.
One of our first forays into formally into the world of personal development was with someone named Bill Bartman. And Bill Bartman today is in the finance space, but at one time he was in the personal development world. And we went to a session with Bill where he said, if you want to see the future, you must first close your eyes. And he said, close your eyes and go back to a time when you were a young child and you didn't see barriers in your space and you actually knew what you wanted the world to look like. And I did close my eyes, but as the kind of student that I am, I did not follow the instructions. And I let my mind go where it would. And where it went was a vision that I hold dear to this day of Amit presenting, by the time he's 26 years old, to the General Assembly of the United Nations. And I'm sitting in the audience and he's talking about his work in the world and why it is making the difference that it is. And I've got tears of gratitude coming down my eyes, and I've searched the internet and there are no public photos from the view of which I'm sitting looking at the stage. And so I am there. And
in the vision.
In the vision. Yeah, I am there in the vision. And so, because it's the only way I can think of. I didn't copy and paste of some other picture that I've seen, right? And that picture still guides me today. Martin Luther King talks of, I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the other side, right? I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen that other side. And so really, look, it is challenging with the difficulties that Amit has had, and it is challenging with the mission that he's got, right? Like this is a big deal. And so, but I've seen the other side. And so I don't know if I've answered your question, but I've told you a story.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. I mean, what do you think, Amit, about his vision?
I have seen it too. And what I see is long after I am gone, that the cause of the Chintan Project will survive and be even more relevant. Not only will we have a better understanding as a whole of individual purpose, but we will have an understanding of how the purposes, the missions of all of those with whom we interact are connected. So I believe that there is a higher level than individual purpose. It is collective purpose.
Well, now you're going to have me get into one of my favorite topics. So talk to me about the collective purpose that you see.
Well, it may not, Alexandra, be what you were thinking, because remember that we are all here to learn, to grow, to serve. So that, just so you know what's happening, Amit is sitting on my lap right now, so when he readjusts, that's why he is. So to learn and to grow.
Got it.
And when we each have a better understanding and appreciation for how interdependent we are, we will be able to bring about even more significant changes. Those changes would not be necessarily good or bad in the conventional sense, but they will happen at a faster speed than they happen now. If you will, we will evolve ever faster as we understand it. Where we are going is a philosophical point, and we can discuss that now or in our next interviews.
No, I think it's an interesting point to explore, especially with technology being at the pace that it is in terms of innovation and human development, not necessarily matching that. What do you have to say about that?
I think that there is a balance between the growth of technology on one hand, and if you will, the growth of ecology on the other. There is that counterbalancing of people getting back to nature, if you will, from the kinds of foods we are told to eat, to the ways we live our lives.